when you get your fabric, it comes from a bolt, just like this, and you will hand it to the person, the clerk, and then tell them how much you want, and they unroll it. So the majority of fabric, as I told the other day, comes in just about 3 widths. Now the width has to do with crossed from here up to there and back again, because this is folded in half, and they've put together the selvages down here. They don't do a perfect job putting them together, so when they cut that edge, it's not always perfect. So when they do that, they usually come 44, 45 inches wide, or 54 inches wide, or 60. So if that's the case, the bolt is much bigger. It's like much wider than this. This is about 22, 23 inches wide. Sometimes the cardboard bolt's a little bit bigger to hold the fabric, but the fabric is generally that. So with that being said, we're going to identify some parts. So the first part that I want you to know, most importantly, is where the selvage is. And we know we can find it because it's either has like these holes in the edge, or it's tightly bound. It's not going to ravel. Like this side's going to ravel. See how it's starting to come undone, unwoven? All right, that's not the selvage. This one is. Sometimes there's print on it. Let me look and see. I don't think this one, oh, this one does. Look, tells who made it or who it's made for. This one says produced, designed and produced exclusively for Joann Fabrics and craft stores. And they even have their trademark little symbol on there. So that's the selvage edge, and it runs what we call lengthwise on your body. So this zigzag would not go this direction on our body. Instead, if I was making pajama pants out of this fabric, it would go this way, right? Super important. So the selvage edge is the tightly bound edge that runs lengthwise on your fabric. That's all you have to know. The tightly bound edge that runs lengthwise. Opposite of that is the raw edge. This is the raw edge. This is the part that they cut with their scissors when you go. So it runs absolutely opposite, or what we call perpendicular to this edge. So it is going to be the crosswise grain. It's also known as the raw edge. So the raw edge is just that. It runs perpendicular to the selvage edge. Selvage, raw edge. So along with that are 2 other words that I want you to know. I want you to know that going parallel, these little yarns in here are what we call the warp yarns. They're the lengthwise ones. The ones that go this direction crosswise are called the weft. They're the ones that are coming undone. See these little itty bitty ones that are upright? Those are what we call the warp. These that are coming undone are what we call the weft. All right? They're not as strong as the lengthwise ones. So let's take a piece of fabric and identify some things. Oh, wait, before I do that, we're going to do one other thing. There's this thing called the bias. The bias is slanted. It goes at a 45-degree angle from this edge, exactly 45 degrees from the selvage edge. So it would be halfway. 90 degrees straight across, right? Okay, makes an L, but the bias is at a 45 degree, so it's halfway in between there. And it's halfway stretchy when we use that. We'll get to that later, but I just want you to know that direction. So let's take a piece of fabric like this one, and you're going to do this in your assignment. You're going to open up your fabric and you're going to videotape and show me these parts, and you're going to tell me them. So videotape yourself, and you're going to, or you can have a partner, someone videotape you. You're going to identify the selvage edge by pointing to it, all right? And you're going to say it. You got to tell me it. And then opposite of it will be this one, because I can see this is the selvage edge. This is what we call the raw edge, all right? With this lengthwise grain, this is the lengthwise grain. This is the crosswise grain. And then these are the warp yarns. These are the weft yarns. And at a 45-degree angle would be just that. It would be our bias. So those are the things I need you to identify in your video. Let's look at one more piece. I open this piece of fabric up, lay it down here, and I can identify specific things. I can identify exactly that. This is our selvage edge. The warp yarns go this way, as well as the lengthwise direction, or what we call the lengthwise grain. This is the raw edge because it's the one that which is cut, and it's also what they call, these are the weft threads or weft yarns, and this is the crosswise grain. All right, make sure you videotape it, describe those on your fabric to me. If you want, you can put little labels. It's totally up to you, but I need to know that you know what you're talking about. If we were in person, you would even be doing this the same way. We'd be identifying all those parts. Look in your Canvas assignment that will include everything that you need to include in your video.